The Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Great Adventure was an iconic ride of its time, and it was the most American roller coaster built. But what happened to it? Tune in on JB Archives to find out.
Will contain scenes which are very racy.
It's here. The fastest. The tallest. Looping coaster on the face of this earth. And if you like this performance, wait till you catch it live. The Great American Scream Machine, only at Six Flags Great Adventure.
The Great American Scream Machine was a roller coaster located at Six Flags Great Adventure. And back then, Great Adventure had a really good lineup of roller coasters and rides. But they wanted something that would take a record, something that would draw people even more to their park. And after previously working with Arrow with lightning loops, they wanted a better version of that type of roller coaster. So, they worked together and created the brand new roller coaster, the Great American Scream Machine. The ride was themed to America, sporting a red, white, and blue color scheme on the coaster trains, as well as a red and white track scheme, and the entrance had stars and flag-like queue line. The roller coaster had 3 trains: Freedom, which was the red train, Liberty, which was the white train, and Spirit, which was the blue train. And all of these, in total, the colors together, is the American flag. The ride would start off as a little small dip, a little turn like all classic roller coasters start off as. Then climb the 173-foot lift hill. Then the ride dropped at 155 feet to the left with a top speed of 68 miles per hour. Then the train started with the first inversion, a vertical loop. Then the ride just curved again and did 2 more vertical loops. Then the train stops in a brake run, like always. Then the train dropped again for a boomerang. After the boomerang, then the ride turns around and goes into the final 2 corkscrews, and a sudden neck-breaking stop at the end. The ride was insane for its time period, but the problem is, like all Arrow roller coasters, it started getting rough. It was getting extremely rough over time, especially with restraints, where there was head banging, shoulder pain, and head pain, as well as back injuries. Ride mechanics noticed that on one of the loops, it was causing some unnecessary roughness. So they removed the top of the loop and replaced it with the new one to fix that problem. The old loop was moved to the monkeys enclosure in the Safari Village, so now the monkeys can play around in that old rusty loop. And the ride felt better on that one loop. But nevertheless, the ride was still rough. And ride maintenance was very, very costly, and it was a nightmare. It was an actual nightmare. Then fast forward, and the ride is doing okay, but it's kind of losing the American theme. So in 2009, the Liberty train started getting plastered with ads. And the first of those ads was Got to Be Glue hair gel, which is still here now, especially in other Six Flags parks like Six Flags Over Texas. Then next up was Stride Gum, and the train was now green. Yes, that's totally patriotic. Then the Karate Kid movie, which gotta say it's kind of weird. And finally, the weirdest of them all, Axe body spray. Yes, Axe was on a roller coaster. Yeah. Okay then, Six Flags, go ahead. And now the ride is definitely not called the American Scream Machine, more like the Ad Scream Machine, or the Ads Make You Scream Machine. Anyways, obviously the ride was losing its touch, and it was, until finally, in the 2010 season, the ride was announced to be closed for good. And just like that, on July 18, 2010, the ride closed for good. It's not just a rough ride or nightmare like most rides that close like all of a sudden. This one really gave some people to connect Because imagine as a kid and you finally are tall enough to ride the biggest intense ride. That's what it felt like. People got to do their big ride, and now they'll remember the ride forever. This was truly an American patriotic ride. This is not just a theme. And this ride will be missed forever. And the same thing happened with Shockwave at Six Flags Great America. It was an almost exact copy of American Scream Machine, but it was smaller in size. But once again, 1 year later, the ride just reached its end and died. The only custom aero coaster like Great American Scream Machine is Viper at Magic Mountain. But, like I said, it's on the ticking clock, and it's about to die pretty soon because the ride is getting old, and no one can replace it because Aero's out of business for good. So, then Great American Scream Machine got scrapped, and the last remnant of the ride was the loop that's in the Safari Village, and you can only see it if you take that tour where the monkeys are playing around. And the land where Great American Scream Machine used to be located is now acquainted by Green Lantern's stand-up roller coaster, and Green Lantern is still there to this day. In result, Great American Scream Machine was an amazing ride of its time, but like all defunct rides and sent away roller coasters, they all remain in one place, the JB Archives. Thank you for watching.